This video is going to be a little bit different than my usual ones. I've always wanted to make a tier ranking video, so I thought we'd have a little bit of fun and rate some 17 songs that many people view as sexy. Just an important note before we start. This is a lyrics analysis video. I'll comment maybe a little bit on choreography or the sound of the music itself, but mostly I'm focused on the lyrics. So if you disagree because you think the performance of the song is sexy or sexual, I mean, that's fine, but a lot of that is subjective. And also just in general, attractive people performing well could almost always be interpreted as attractive and sexy. So it's not really my place to judge that. We're sticking to lyrics for this. So here's our tiers with an example of what I mean for each one. First, we've got the nope category, which is the song is not related to sexual things. So for instance, Cyberpunk by ATEEZ. This is a song about trying to escape a disillusioned and emotionless life. I'm aware of the chair choreography, like I get why people talk about the song, but the song itself is not at all related to that. It's not on the sexy sexual spectrum. The next category is sexy, and this is for songs that are maybe about a relationship or emotions that could be connected to sex, but the song is not directly about that. Like it's starting to move in that direction. Rock With You is much more about connection and intimacy, and some of the things it brings up could be connected to sex, but that's not what the song is specifically about. It's a sexy song. That topic is not sex. Suggestive is a category for songs that make us question whether or not they are sexual. They aren't explicitly stating anything. They aren't using any overt metaphors for sex or intimacy. But there's something that makes us think that there's more going on. Wait is actually a great example of this. It's obviously about the anticipation and the tension of waiting for somebody. There's some lines in here that are like, is this just a simile for closeness or is this an actual innuendo? It's unclear, and that's exactly what this category is for. As a quick side note, I think given his personal musical taste, we may be in for some songs from Dino in other categories. I just want to take you. I just want to take you there. But for now, Wait is suggestive. We've reached the category of sexual songs. Cream Soda by EXO is a good example of this category. Try not to think too hard about the exact food metaphor involved in this, but basically it's a song about anticipation, you know, that first taste leading you to want more. But really the song needs to be focused on sexual things for me to put it in this category. And finally, we have songs that are actually about sex. Cake by Card is a very clear example of this. Don't you wanna taste? Make you wanna put your tongue on my cake. Don't let a bite go to waste. Don't get my share. I think I just. This song could not be any more about sex if it tried. All right, time to start ranking. This is a song about missing somebody after a breakup. The performance of this, the sound of this is misleading. Did you know that there's not a single example of physical touch in the entire lyrics? All of the metaphors are based on nature. For the sound of it and for its description of intimacy, this song fits squarely in the sexy category. It's such a cute song, but it just never veers into anything sexual. It's very playful and innocent, like a lot of early 17 songs. But because it is about attraction to somebody else, I will put it in sexy. Crazy in Love is basically a more intense or slightly more grown-up version of Boom Boom. Again, there's nothing really physical here. It's more about sort of the overwhelming sense of their emotions as opposed to physical attraction or sexual things. So also in sexy. I got a crush on you. Crush for me is different from the previous two songs because the lyrics are focused on unspoken attraction between them. That and the fact that it is about a crush, meaning we're at the beginning of something, hinting that there's more to come, to me this is different than just sexy. We're not quite into the sexual level, but we're definitely suggestive. The next two songs are a great example of the way that a song sounds is different from its lyrical meaning. So Domino sounds sweet and cute, but to me, these are some of the most intimate, sexy lyrics that 17 has. This song for me is almost in the sexual category, but doesn't quite get there. I gotta put it in suggestive. On the other hand, Fast Pace gets mentioned a lot as a sexy song, and I get it because of how it sounds and the choreo. But if you look at the lyrics, this is a song about having lost your love for somebody before the relationship is actually over. It's pretty heartbreaking. So I'm sure I'll get some disagreement, but for me, this song is not sexy. Look, we all love the choreo, but Fire is a brag track about their success. It's a nope. Getting Closer is about being trapped in uncontrollable attraction for somebody and trying desperately to get more from them. Sexual. Good to Me is a song about the excitement of finding somebody who fits well with you. A song that sounds very sexy and the choreo is very sexy. But the song itself is about happiness in connection. Sexy, not sexual. Hot is about their burning passion for singing. Like, the song is hot. Their ambition is hot. The song is not about 17 being hot. I Don't Understand But I Love You is a perfect example of a suggestive song. The lyrics could be interpreted as showing emotional closeness and intensity, or they could be interpreted more sexually. I don't think one or the other of these are right. I think it's intended to be both. Like so many performance unit songs, this one lives in this gray area somewhere between I want you physically and I'm endlessly devoted to you. It's both. I need more people to appreciate lunch. The metaphor of food delivery as connection between singer and listener is so clever. And the song is not sexual, it's not about sex, but it is intentionally made to sound sexy and suggestive. Yeah, baby, come over, baby, come over. I am convinced they know what this part sounds like. They know what that sounds like in English, and they did it on purpose. Okay, you knew we were going to talk about it in this video. Through metaphor and subtle scene creation, this song is actually about sex. That's what the song's about. So with Limbo, we're back into the suggestive category. The lyrics can definitely be interpreted in a sexual way. The listeners are being seduced into the dark Juniverse. And yet, in the context of the full song, I think it's more about the dangers of narcissism. But similar to I Don't Understand But I Love You, I think both interpretations exist within the song. This is another great example of how the sound of a song can throw people off, because there's metaphors throughout the lyrics that are pretty suggestive. It's hard to know for sure, just from reading a translation, how much of this is innuendo. But even putting these lines aside, it's pretty clear that Rock is a song about sexual desire. This song is classic Uji because it's so sexy and it really could be interpreted in a sexual way. But at the same time, there's enough nuance. Things are a little bit cloaked. He never quite lets it slide into the sexual category. So this is firmly suggestive. The song is about a secret or sort of star-crossed relationship, and it definitely has a sexy sound to it, but there's nothing really physical in the lyrics. It's more about their emotional intimacy. So I'll put it in sexy. Spider is about the way that physical attraction can trap you in a relationship which might be harmful. Sort of lust for the other person makes you stay when maybe you should leave. So it's definitely a sexual song. Again, I get why people think this song is sexy or even sexual, but the lyrics are about giving yourself a moment of peace in a busy world, giving yourself a moment away from the distractions of reality. It's not a sexual song. Last but not least, one people never seem to think of, World. Is this song a promise to take fans to a parasocial paradise? Sure, but it's also super suggestive. So here's our final ranking of songs. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. This video is mostly for fun, but I do think the distinction between sexy and sexual is an important one to make. For instance, if a young person wears a revealing outfit to school, do they automatically become a sexual object? Just because somebody is viewed as attractive, does that automatically mean that they are seen as sexual? My answer to both of those is no. I think a person's intent in wearing something or singing something, etc., is just as, if not more important than the way in which they are perceived. There's nothing wrong with wanting to seem sexual or sexy or neither of those things. But the distinction between a group presenting a song that's sexy versus one that is more explicitly sexual is a distinction that we absolutely should be making.